Hey, well, hello again, my friends. Here's the exercises for homework 1.3. I'm going to do 5 different problems for you. We're going to be working through 3, 7, 9, 31, and 41. You can see at the top of the page here the fullest set that I have assigned for this section. But again, I'll just be kind of doing a sampling of those. So starting with number 3, this one is where it's the music one. It's referencing a metronome. I didn't draw the full metronome, but I sketched down the angles, and it's just meant to help you make sure you can correctly identify and label and name angles. Really, really key, so that when you go to do the actual algebra, you're not confused as to what you're talking about. So it just says name all the angles in the diagram. So we'll do that as an example. So first, I can see that I have this angle here, here to here. And again, the way you would name that is the 3 letters that my pen just connected. So let's do it again. A, O, B. Okay, so that would be known as angle AOB, with again the vertex or the middle letter needing to be in the middle. Because I can also name it just as accurately BOA. Okay, so this is also known as BOA or BOA. Sometimes you'll get some little words from these things. Those are the exact same angle. The key is that they both involve A and B, and that they're meeting at vertex or the hinge, the corner O. So 2 names, but that's for the same exact angle. If we look at our other angle here, we have BOC. Okay, from B to O to C. And so we'd call that angle BOC or BOC, B-O-C. And I could reverse the order and go from C to O to B, and that would be the exact same angle, angle COB. So even stuff like that is just good to know. Those are the exact same angles and not to be thrown off by it. And then, so we have the 2 smaller angles, but then we could also, if we wanted to talk about the largest angle, we would then trace the letters that are the larger angle, A to O, then to C. So AOC. Oh, if you're into politics, that's exciting. Angle AOC is the larger angle. And then, of course, it has a reverse or maybe dyslexic name, and that would be COA. COA. Either one is acceptable. People tend to, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to say one order is better than the other. Just realize that they are the same. So again, notice if you just look at that smattering of letters, it's just kind of like there's 3 letters and the combinations. What does it matter? You kind of got to get used to carefully tracing through so that you can accurately identify your angles. Okay, but that's it. And then I guess I could go ahead and box that, because there are my answers for number 3. Okay, I'm going to jump to number 1. I'm sorry, number 1. Number 7. Let's go to number 7. I've got a little sketch here. So number 7 says L is the interior of angle JKM. So I've already sketched it, but again, here's my angle JKM. Okay, and L's in the interior, excuse me, or the inside. So I got that. Now it tells me for number 7, it says that I need to find the measure of JKM. Quick note, whenever they say this, measure of angle JKM, that means I'm trying to find the amount. I'm trying to find the degree of it. So the measure of JKM, angle JKM. So we're trying to find, that means we're trying to find the big angle. So now they've given us some values. If JKL, so JKL, if JKL is 42. So I've got that value, 42 degrees. And the measurement of LKM, see, I always trace them to make sure I know which one I'm talking about. So LKM is 28 degrees. Okay, so this is a pretty straightforward one, but I just wanted to walk you through how I identify the angles correctly. And now, so if I know the 2 smaller angles, and I'm looking for this, again, this larger angle, JKM, we're just going to add them together, 42 plus 28. And that equals 70. So 70, again, no naked answers. We got degrees, so let's put something on there so we're not embarrassed. So JKM, the measurement of angle JKM, is 70 degrees. I know, exciting stuff, huh? So glad you're in this class with me to share the enthusiasm. Okay, number 9. Going to get a little more complicated rather than, again, this problem is basic because they just give you the 42 and the 28. Now we're going to get some problems where they do basically the exact same thing, but you're going to have expressions and we're going to get to write equations. So like I said, exciting stuff. So number 9, again, I drew this. You got to make this drawing based on what they tell you. If you just try to do all in your head, hey, some of you might be able to pull that off. Congratulations, but it's likely you're going to make mistakes, and it's also likely to be a lot more stressful than if you just take the time to sketch it out so you can see it clearly. So that's what I've done. It said that BD here bisects ABC. So I drew angle ABC, and then I drew a BD down what looked to be the middle. Important thing to note, what does bisect mean? It means to cut evenly in half. So that means that these two angles, and this is how you show congruency in an angle with little red arcs. In the lines, they put the little red hashes, but here we put the red arcs. So that means those two angles are the same. It's a clue. That's going to be important for us. And so then they tell us we need to find let's check what they want. They want us to find ABD. ABD. So first thing to note is, look, they don't want us to find the big angle. Our final answer is going to need to be that smaller angle, ABD. And then they tell us that ABD is equal to 6x plus 4. So we're going to need to find the actual number of degrees that is. And then DBC, so this one down here, DBC, that is equal to 8x minus 4. Always making sure you copy the numbers from the right problems. Don't look at number 10 if we're looking at number 9. Okay, so there's my two expressions. Key question, what equals what in order to write an equation? Well, go back to the clue they gave us, bisecting. The two are equal to each other. So that means 6x plus 4 is the same as 8x minus 4. And now we are able to go into algebra mode. Okay, so I got the 8x and the 6x. I always move the smaller to the larger. So how do you move a positive 6x? You subtract it. And you make sure you do that on both sides because you got to stay balanced. So cross that out. So now we're left with 4 equals 2x plus 4. And again, if I'm moving too slow for you, I'm excited because that means you get it. I need to move the constants to the other side. So how do I move a negative 4 to the left? I need to add 4. So add 4. That's going to cancel out. And that's going to give me 8 on the left equals 2x. Opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. Cancels out. And so we are given just 4 equals x. Okay, so we found x. Good stuff, but we're not done yet because remember, go back to the problem. We need to find A, B, D. And so that means I'm going to take my 4 and plug it in right here. Okay, usually a plug-in step at the end, unless all they want is x, which does happen. So let's plug it in. Why not? We'll go to blue. 6 times 4 plus 4. It's going to be 24 plus 4, and that gives us 28. Okay, and that is correct. Check your answer in the back of the book. I can see it. It's right, but I am naked, so let's put some degrees on. 28 degrees. It's not 28 inches, feet, hours, chickens. It's 28 degrees. And so you want to make sure that you are adding up, you're putting on your units. Okay, let's go to 31. We're going to do 31 and 41, and then we'll be done. Okay, 31, kind of an interesting drawing here. And I copied it right out of the book. We've got several angles, a full panoply of letters. And now we've given some expressions. And so again, here's where you got to be careful, make sure we write in the information correctly. So I'm looking at number 31. It says the measurement of AOB. So let me trace that. AOB, so we're talking about this angle. AOB is 6x plus 5. Okay, 6x plus 5. And then it tells us that BOC, so that's this fella right here, BOC, that one is, BOC is 4x minus 2. So we got 4x minus, oops, not a very good 2. Whoops, let's fix that. 4x minus 2. And then they are telling us that AOC, so the entire, this big one here, so the combination of those two angles, AOC, is 8x plus 21. So that means this entire arc here is 8x plus 21. Alrighty, and so that now we need to, and this one, the instructions are we just need to solve for x. Okay, so I'm not going to have to plug it back in this time. So the key is, what's my equation? What is equal to what? Well, in this case, again, you can see that I have one angle here, and if I add this angle next to it, I will get the entire angle here. So in other words, the 4x minus 2 plus the 6x plus 5 equals the total. Or I'll just actually use my total here. 8x plus 21 equals the other two smaller angles added up to it. So 4x minus 2 plus 6x plus 5 is what's equal to that larger AOC angle, 8x plus 21. So now, a little more complicated than some of the other equations we've done so far. I've got a lot of going on the right side here. We want to use the old trick of combining like terms. In other words, I want to combine my x's and I want to combine my constants so that I can simplify that a little bit. So on the left, I keep my 8x plus 21. But my total x's on the right are 4 plus 6, so there's 10 x's over here. And then a negative 2 plus 5. That's going to be just a positive 3. All right, now I've got what looks like my more typically balanced equation. And so let's get our x's together. I've got an 8x and a 10x. I'm going to go with subtract the smaller one. So I need to subtract 8x because that's the opposite of a positive 8x. And I need to do that on both sides. It cancels out. And so now we are left with 21 equals 2x plus 3. And we subtract our 3 over here. It's going to cancel out the 3's. And so then what, 21 minus 3, that's going to be 18 equals 2x. I doubt I'll make it through the year without making a mistake on one of these videos, so be ready. Always be working with me. All right, and then we're going to divide by 2. Instead of multiplying by 2, we do the opposite on both sides because that cancels that out. And we're left with x equals 9. Notice how important showing your work is. Not kind of the stuff that most of us can do in our heads. And I checked my book. X equals 9. Very good, because I didn't have to plug it back in this problem. They just wanted the variable. So I am done. Box it. So again, you can see what the work looks like. Here's the look. Oh, here's looking at the entire problem. But it's very clear what my final answer is. And I don't need to put a degrees on the 9 because it's not 9 degrees. It's just that the x value is 9. And our last one, number 41, another kind of fun little drawing. This is the multiple choice one on page 26. So let's fill in the information that they've given us. They've told us that measurement of UOW, so UOW, so we're talking about that angle there, that angle is 50 degrees. Okay, so this full angle here, actually I'm going to draw it out here. This out here is 50 degrees. Okay, and then it tells us that ray OV, got a ray right there, is bisecting that angle UOW. So again, what does bisecting mean? Cuts it into 2 even pieces. So I'm going to put these little marks to show that this angle is congruent to this angle. Because then that's a clue. If the whole thing is 50 and these have been cut evenly in half, I know that these smaller angles are each 25. Okay, because that's what bisect means. So what are we looking for? We are looking for VOY. So VOY. We're looking for this angle right here. Well, let's fill in what we know. I know that this piece up here is 25. This piece with the little right triangle in there, that means that WOX is a right angle, which means it's 90 degrees. And so do I know what XOY is? Yes, actually, if I look in the drawing, they gave that to me. I forgot to put it in. That's 40 degrees. So there we go. I've got the three pieces of angle VOY, angle VOY. And so I simply need to go 25 plus 90 plus 40. And should have the total. That's going to be 130 plus 25. So that is 155. 155 degrees. And I can see that that is letter D. El fin. Okay, so really important for this. The math itself is not terribly tricky unless you're just in need of some basic algebra review, but just taking the time to correctly identify and label each of the angles is, to me, again, where kind of the learning curve is. Just getting consistent at that, bothering to write in the information on your diagrams, even scribble in your textbook, pencil if you need to. I would always draw it in your comp book. Because once you see everything clearly labeled, the next step, or in terms of what to do with that information, usually follows. If you just kind of stare at the textbook and try to do it all in your head, again, congratulations if you're able to do that. But I find labeling it and drawing it to make it much, much easier. All right, please reach out if you need any help. I'd be happy to. But this is the exercises, a sampling of the exercises from homework 1.3.